The Prince Edward Viaduct System, commonly referred to as the Bloor Viaduct, is the name of a truss arch bridge system in Toronto, Ontario, Canada, that connects Bloor Street East, on the west side of the system, with Danforth Avenue on the east. The system includes the Rosedale Valley Phase and the Sherbourne Phase, an embankment built to extend Bloor Street East to the Rosedale Ravine from Sherbourne Street. The Don Valley Phase of the system, the most recognizable, spans the Don River Valley, crossing over the Bayview Avenue Extension, the Don River, and the Don Valley Parkway. The roadway has 5 lanes with a bicycle lane in each direction. The subway level connects Broadview Station in the east with Castle Frank and Sherbourne stations to the west. Design. Designed by Edmund W. Burke, the Prince Edward Viaduct is a 3-hinged concrete steel arch bridge with a total span of 494 meters, at 40 meters above the Don Valley. The bridge consists of a deck made of transverse beams and I-girders, which transfer load to column supports. The column supports then transfer the load to the trusses within the arches, which transfer the load to the arches themselves. Finally, the arches transfer their load through large hinges to a concrete pier and eventually to the ground. In addition to the Don River, the Don Valley Parkway, and Bayview Avenue, 2 railway lines, an electrical transmission line and a bicycle trail all pass under the bridge spans. History. Referenda on the construction of the Prince Edward Viaduct were held in Toronto in every year from 1910 to 1913, with residents voting against its construction in 1912 by 59 votes and in favour in 1913 by 92-36 votes. The projected cost of its construction increased from $759,000 Canadian dollars in 1910 to $2.5 million Canadian dollars in 1913. Its final cost was $2,480,349 Canadian dollars and 5 cents. Upon its completion in 1918, it was named for Prince Edward, Prince of Wales. The viaduct was designed to facilitate mass transit. Its upper deck accommodated trams, while both the Don Valley Phase and the Rosedale Valley Phase included a lower deck for rail transport, controversial at the time because of its high additional cost. The bridge's designer and the Commissioner of Public Works, R.C. Harris, were able to have their way, and the lower deck eventually proved to save millions of dollars when the Toronto Transit Commission's Bloor Danforth subway opened in 1966. The Rosedale Valley Phase was not used for the subway, as the curve between each phase, as well as the curve to the west at Parliament Street, was considered too sharp for the subway. A separate bridge was built over Rosedale Valley, west of the Castle Frank subway station. This covered subway bridge was designed by John B. Parkin and Associates with De La Cather Canada and completed in 1966. The Prince Edward Viaduct resulted in more rapid development of those portions of Toronto lying on the east side of the Don Valley. Luminous Veil. Over time, the Prince Edward Viaduct became a magnet for suicide, falling bodies posing risk to the traffic underneath. With nearly 500 suicides by 2003, the viaduct ranked as the second most fatal standing structure in North America, after the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco. At its peak in 1997, the suicide rate averaged 1 person every 22 days. In 1957, a child also climbed onto the railing and fell accidentally while walking along it. The suicides and safety risks prompted the construction of a barrier in 2003, though it was first approved by Toronto City Council in 1998 and delayed because of concerns about funding. During that time, the viaduct was the site of an estimated 48 to 60 suicides took place at the bridge. The council originally approved a $2.5 million Canadian dollars budget. However, the minimum bid for construction was $5.5 million Canadian dollars. Council eventually endorsed a fundraising campaign to raise the remainder of the money. Construction was completed in 2003 at the cost of $5.5 million, with $2.5 million coming from taxpayers. The barrier was called the Luminous Veil. Designed by architect Derek Rivington and engineers at Halpro Yoles and completed in 2003, the Luminous Veil consists of over 9,000 steel rods, 12.7 centimeters apart and 5 m high, stretched to cantilevered girders. The tensile structure was difficult to analyze and required several tests at the University of Toronto. Cost prohibited the planned lighting to be installed on the top horizontal member, initially. The lighting installation was not completed until July 2015. The Luminous Veil received in 1999 a Canadian Architect Award of Excellence. A 2010 study found that though the barrier prevented suicide attempts from the viaduct, overall rates of suicide by jumping for the City of Toronto have not changed since its construction. However, according to a 2015 study, suicide barriers have had direct impact on reducing average suicide rates globally. Appearance in popular culture. In film Saint Monica, Resident Evil, Apocalypse, music video for The Spoons' Romantic Traffic. In literature, plays, and publications alphabetical by author, In Gabriel's Kitchen, In the Skin of a Lion, Flash Forward. In music War on Drugs by the Bare Naked Ladies, Anything Could Happen by Bruce Cockburn, National Hum by the Constantines, Luminous Veil by Stardeath and White Dwarfs. In television Degrassi Junior High episode titled Dog Days. See also, Royal Eponyms in Canada, Suicide Bridge. References. External links.